What's going on, Jerome? It's a beautiful Sunday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So I love this sweatshirt. I never wear it, though. So the wife got it for me. It's like one of those, I don't know, it's almost like the Belichick cutoff hoodie. I love the material. It's very breathable. Plus, for whatever reason, I don't know. I feel like we would get higher ratings if it was like this, but anyways. But the Vikings taking on the Rams Monday Night Football. Super wild card weekend now. Should there be a wild card game? Should there be a Monday night game, wild card weekend? I don't know. But, of course, the NFL is into money. Frankly, I'm surprised that there isn't a Thursday night, Friday night game on wild card weekend as well. But who knows? But the Vikings putting this out. I love the old school tack that the Vikings have taken, just like old school style with the modern games. And, of course, the Vikings and the horned helmet. Yes, the Vikings did not have horned helmets. That was a later artistic flourish, but doesn't matter. But 2-5, staying alive, and the long ship, following the North Star. That's actually just a Starlink satellite. And then heading towards shore where there's some doll sheep and the Rams. So if you've ever eaten lamb and you don't like it, chances are you've had bad lamb. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a step in the process with lamb where it has to soak. Whether it's in milk, whether it's in yogurt, whether it's in whatever, it really takes away the gamey flavor, right? I will say, like, Holy Land here in the Twin Cities, fantastic lamb. It's my go-to stop whenever I have to take the jabroni kids to the state fair. Just getting the lamb kebabs at Holy Land. Woo. Also, I think last time we were there, one of the workers watches the channel. So shout out Jerome's to Holy Lamb. But lamb is so damn good if it's prepared properly. I forget where it was, but it was a roasted leg of lamb with like a mint sauce. It's like a mint cream sauce. Baby, it's a wild world. But getting after the Rams ain't nothing but a little mutton, but... yeah. And also, Twin Cities rallying up. Vikings 14 wins in the playoffs in the second season. Doesn't matter what your record are. You can punch your ticket. You are in. And Minneapolis is fired up. You got the IDS Center. When I was a kid, I used to think that this was the IBS Center. So just like, oh, they got tummy aches. Yeah. Wells Fargo Center in the background. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Also, looking down the street, faux shade. So... occasionally, that parents need a break, right? And my wife and I, we enjoy obviously getting away, but sometimes just like quick staycations are really good as well. So one of our go-tos in Minneapolis is just staying at the W, centralized location, and either going to Manny's or Butcher and the Boar or Bar La Grassa or something like that. We always get dessert at Zelo, which is down the street from Fauché Tower. It's their desserts are really good. They're fantastic. Then, so you would think that younger parents getting away from the kids, it would be all wine and hot tubs and like, no, we Chromecast to the TV, whatever show we're watching at the time. Right now, we're really into Madam Secretary. It's good. Taya Leone is fantastic. And then, like, go to sleep at, like, 9 o'clock. Get a full night's sleep. We go to Hen House Eatery, which is fantastic. Get the crab cakes Benedict. It's good. Then you're fully recharged for just more fighting the good fight. Yeah, it's really good. Anyways, something that wasn't good. So the two games, a Saturday wild card, the Chargers got stomped. There's no other way about it. And the Texans, so I had talked about, I'd written off that Texans defense, but they are legit. I think that Lassiter and Stingley, maybe one of the best young corner duos in the National Football League. Nico Collins came out huge. Stroud wasn't that great. Mixon call game in this one, but also, that defense, D'Amico Ryans had this team fired up. They were written off all year long. It's all the woulda, coulda, shoulda that went AFC South by default, but the Chargers just look inert. Herbert, all the talk was, he only threw 3 interceptions all year, threw 4 on Saturday. Quentin Johnson playing all the hits, having drops all over the place. The run game was inert, and also it was you feel bad for Cameron Dicker, the kicker. Like, it was the first 2-point defensive conversion where kick got blocked. Dicker went up to try and knock it down. He just got lit up. And they ran it back. The Texans special teams as a whole were on one. Like, they blocked a punt. Chris Boyd was out there getting chippy. I love it. It's fantastic. But the Texans, I don't think the Texans get out the next round, but it was nice for the city of Houston get a win here. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, getting after things, man. Good times. Also, Steelers Ravens. This was no contest. It just really wasn't. It was one side to begin with. The Steelers made a little push in the third quarter, but like the Ravens, the defense is legit. It's really gelled. It was not great in the beginning of the season. Lamar Jackson's your MVP. And Derrick Henry. How do you stop Lamar and Derrick Henry on the read option besides playing physical, disciplined defense? Well, Jonathan Gennard and Cashman and Andrew Van Ginkel and Ivan Pace Jr. That's how you stop it, right? But it's gonna be tough. Also, Rashad Bateman. This is Rashad Bateman's team, man. I'll love to see that. But yeah, the Ravens. They got the championship pedigree with John Harbaugh. Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt. I think that Lamar is finally ready to bust out. But we'll see. Of course, the Chiefs and probably the Bills still remain, right? Now, for the NFC, so rooting interests. You got the three NFC games today, and I don't want to say it. I don't. Well, two out of three today. I don't want to say it, but there is a way for the Vikings to host a divisional round game, but you're not going to like it. So you got to root for the Eagles to lose to the Packers, which I think could be plausible. Like, I like Philly. I don't love Philly. You know what I mean? And Tampa Bay, I think that the Commies, Jane Daniels, can go down and beat Tampa Bay in that spot. So, and also if and when the Vikings beat the Rams on Monday night, that means that all three wildcard teams win 5, 6, 7. All right, so reseeding for the second round, the Lions would host the Packers, since the one seed Lions would get the lowest remaining seed, and then the highest remaining seed, the Vikings, would be hosting the number 6 seed Washington Commanders, historic U.S. Bank Stadium. And to even take it further, if the Packers beat the Lions, and if and when the Vikings beat the Commies in the divisional round, the Vikings host 2 playoff games. NFC Championship game at historic U.S. Bank Stadium, border battle. I wonder if Aaron Jones is going to have a big game. Don't know. Who knows? And then the Vikings win that game, and then it's all purple down in New Orleans. Vikings versus Ravens, but again, we get ahead of ourselves. Right? But whatever happens. But there is a path for the Vikings to host a playoff game on next week, likely next Sunday. Which it would be BS if the NFL made the Vikings play on Monday and then Saturday. I wouldn't put it past them. So weirder things have happened. Speaking of weirder things, so Daniel Jones, so it was a procedural move to get him on the 53, but now Kevin O'Connell, he's got that stupid smirk. We're just like, I'm going to do something. Vikes fan page, Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell and Daniel Jones roll after being signed to the active roster. Daniel Jones would be one of the quarterbacks on the roster. I made that very apparent the other day, and also he would not commit to Nick Mullins being the quarterback too. But we'll see. We see that smirk, coach, blah, blah, blah. Now, if they want to use Jones with design packages down in the red zone, notably, he would have to be quarterback 2. Because you can't have him be quarterback 3, because QB 3 can't enter the game unless quarterback 1 and 2 are incapacitated, right? So it would have to be Daniel Jones as the backup quarterback. We'll find out on Monday. But I do feel like Kevin O'Connell's cooking something up. Or this is all just a bluff, and Mullins will be the backup and Jones will be the emergency quarterback 3. But he just wants McVay and the Rams defense to prepare for it, which I know it's possible. But I feel like Jones is more talented than Mullins. And Jones has been in the building for 2 months. He knows the offense, so we'll go from there. Also going from there, Patrick Jones II is going to miss his 3rd straight game. Thank you, Tucker Kraft. Whatever. Or 2nd straight game. Thank you, Tucker Kraft. Also, Cam Akers, questionable with the illness. Now, what's interesting is that Ty Chandler had the illness earlier, but Ty Chandler is fine, and now Cam Akers has it. So, I don't know. Like, Aaron Jones better be taking all that emergency, just overdosing on vitamin C, and also having the humidifier, and just doing all the things, sipping that bone broth, just be good to go. Taki Time also listed as questionable. He's likely going to be elevated from the practice squad tomorrow, and the Vikings will give their run stuffing nose tackle back in time for the Kyrie Williams and the Rams, which would be very, very good. Also, Speaking of the Rams, so props to the Cardinals really going all in and trying to turn this to a home game for the Rams. They painted, it's like 200,000 gallons of paint. It's a lot of paint, man. But putting a double and triple coat down. Also, I love that they're fully painting the end zone, which they didn't have to do, which is really good on the State Farm Stadium grounds crew. But yeah, it's beginning to look a lot like the Rams game. We'll see. Tickets wise, I still have no idea what this game is going to look like. So I know that the Rams and the NFL have been really pumping their chests that they sold like 35,000 tickets, 52,000 tickets, whatever. But I mean, the secondary market is really where it's at. And a lot of Cardinal season ticket holders who got first dibs over Vikings fans, by the way, you know that they're reselling these tickets, right? So I know that a lot of Vikings fans, in the comments have got tickets at relatively decent prices, which is great. I think eventually, once demand sort of wanes or people just be like, we are not paying this, eventually that market will collapse. Those prices will come down. And people who bought tickets just to try and flip them, I mean, they'll probably get close to face value as this game gets close on Monday. But we'll see. But I still think that there's going to be a way for a lot of purple to get in there. A lot of Vikings fans I know are traveling, and also a lot of Vikings fans in that area as well. So hopefully it's purple loud and proud. There you go. This is funny, straight up funny. So first off, the Cardinals, again, big time respect. They gave them the home locker room because the Cardinals facilities are at the stadium. It's important to note. So they're fully in on the lockers, and they fully changed over. They put all the Rams gear in there, put the Rams placards and colors and stuff, and it's a great job by them. But so Bridget Condon, NFL Network, Sean McVay requested the visiting locker room for Monday night's game because of the familiarity. The Vikings will be in the auxiliary locker room. Now, apparently there's rules and bylaws for this. There's rules and bylaws if a game gets moved that the supposed home team gets to choose the locker room, and if they choose the visiting locker room, the opposing team cannot take the home locker room. So what if State Farm Stadium didn't have a third locker room? Like, where would the Vikings change? In the parking lot? Is that the rule? Just so dumb. So dumb, man. So, again, the Cardinals went to all this trouble to set up their home locker rooms for the Rams, and for the game, the Rams are going to be in the visiting locker room. So this glorious locker room, well, I don't know if it's that glorious because the Cardinals are near the bottom of the NFLPA voting every single year, but the Cardinals went to all this trouble to set up for the Rams, and the Rams were like, nah. So now the Vikings get to change. Well, so apparently the auxiliary locker room, which is just the third locker room, is a carbon copy of the visitors' locker room, so it's not that big a deal at the end of the day, but I don't know, it just seems a little bit petty. I mean, this is the divorced dad apartment of locker rooms, but I don't know. I like that everyone gets their own chair. They got to wipe down those chairs because that dudes just sit on those chairs butt-ass naked, right? Just like need some of those Lysol wipes. That's right. I have no transition, but so Ryan Grigson, a former GM of the Colts, the guy who ruined Andrew Luck because he couldn't put an offensive line in front of him. So he and Quay to go way back, and Grigson has been the Vikings' base de facto assistant GM for the last 3 seasons. But Grigson, you're looking to get back out there. Jets completed their interview with Grigson for the GM position. Interesting that that's being spearheaded by Mike Tannenbaum and Ricky Spielman. But also, the scuttlebutt is that they want Grigson, Flores as head coach, and they've requested to interview him. And then Flores would bring along Josh McCown as OC, heading back to the Jets. And hell, why not tag and trade for Darnold? Do it. Do it, you cowards. And just adding another chapter to the dumbest rivalry in sports history. Why not? I'm fully in, man. Also, speaking of Spielman, so this is good. So our guy Ryan Wilson does a pretty weekly podcast with Pretty Ricky about the draft, but also they talk about general NFL topics as well. Vikes fan page, quote, this is Spielman. If I was Minnesota, why wouldn't you keep Sam Darnold? Why not do a potential bridge deal like Baker Mayfield, 3 years, $100 million deal? I think that Darnold, despite Week 18, has played better than that, so I think that he's going to get a little bit more cash. Former Vikings GM Pretty Ricky Spielman suggests that Minnesota should follow the example set by Green Bay with Jordan Love and Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, even though Mahomes sat for 1 year. Yeah, when it comes to J.J. McCarthy. All right, now, Spielman, I like Spielman's take because obviously he was here in power for almost 2 decades with the Vikings. But in terms of paying quarterbacks, I feel like Rick needs to sit this one out. Because in terms of throwing big-time money at a quarterback that you're not sure if he can get to the promised land with him because of him, I don't know. Because remember, Spielman set the precedent. He gave Cousins the 3-year, $84 million deal, fully guaranteed, and then a 2-year, $66 million deal, which was basically fully guaranteed. So essentially, he gave Kirk Cousins 5 years, $150 million guaranteed. So no, Richard, set this one out. That's all. Lastly, so I saw this last week and it bothered me, but didn't find the right time to bring it up. So Kevin, I forget the actor's name, something Baumgartner, right? So guy who plays Kevin in The Office. I think he's from Minnesota, but he's a Packers fan. Know that, right? And obviously he's BFFs Aaron Rodgers. In what was probably Rodgers' last game, Kevin's on the sideline. Kevin is on the sidelines, giving Rodgers a hug and all that stuff. Kevin, we trusted you. Kevin, I'm kind of glad that you spilled your chili now because I feel like you deserve it. So just also, in The Office, I mean, it's set in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it's implied that Kevin's an Eagles fan. So not only is Kevin an Eagles fan, but also he's a Packers and Aaron Rodgers fan. So again, I am very happy that Kevin spilled his chili. And it probably wasn't even that good. Everyone's going to get to know each other in the pot. That's not how you do it. Anyways. Vikings news up on this beautiful Sunday. You guys are the best. To do Skull production value.